Is it possible to spend 3 days in Washington, D.C. and not spend more than $20 per day? Stick around because I'm going to help you find out. Hello, welcome to Trip Hacks DC. My name is Rob. I'm a tour guide here in the nation's capital. If you're coming to Washington, D.C. and you're looking for the best tips, tricks, and hacks for exploring the city, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification icon so that you don't miss any future videos. And if you're interested in signing up for a Trip Hacks DC tour, head on over to triphacksdc.com afterwards to see the tours that we offer. Washington, D.C. is an expensive city. It's expensive to live here, and visitors definitely notice how much things cost. But there are also a ton of completely free or very cheap things to do, which makes this an excellent choice for budget travelers. I wanted to know if it's possible to have an awesome day in Washington, D.C. if you showed up and only had $20 in your pocket. And not just once, because that's way too easy, but for 3 consecutive days. So make sure to stick around to the end of the video to see if I pulled it off on day 2. And if you haven't seen my day 1 recap yet, I'll leave a link to that in the video description. Now, like I mentioned in that day 1 video, in order to do this challenge, I have to exclude the cost of accommodations. I know it's a huge expense when you travel, but it's just not possible to do this if I had to include the price of a hotel. I'm also assuming that you're staying downtown and not commuting in and out of the city. But other than that, food, entertainment, and local transportation will all come from that $20 budget. So with that said, let's recap how I did on day 2. I decided that I wanted to start day 2 with breakfast at one of my favorite restaurants, the Market Lunch inside the Eastern Market. Don't let the name fool you. They actually are really well known for having great breakfast. Now, in order to get over here from downtown, I walked. Walking is free, and DC's a walking city, so I really like to walk places. That said, it did take about an hour to walk over to this neighborhood, so this is not an option for everybody. But I could have also taken 2 circulator buses. The first from downtown to Union Station, and then the second from Union Station to Eastern Market. My guess is that this would have taken approximately the same amount of time. And in July 2019, when I did this challenge, it would have been completely free. My favorite thing to get at the Market Lunch are the Blue Bucks, short for blueberry buckwheat pancakes. I went with the short stack, because unless you are ridiculously hungry, the full stack, in my opinion, is just way too much food. In all, this breakfast set me back $6.88. If you're more of a breakfast sandwich person, they have an awesome sandwich that I recommend called The Brick. It has breakfast meat, 2 eggs, and potatoes all on bread, and for around approximately the same price. The most important thing you need to know about coming to Market Lunch is that it is cash only. So if you don't have cash, you're not getting any food. The other important thing to know is that I came here early on a Friday morning, and the line wasn't very bad. But if you come here on the weekend, the wait in line can often be a half an hour or longer. Eastern Market is in the Capitol Hill neighborhood, which, as the name suggests, is near the Capitol. So after breakfast, I walked over to the Capitol Visitor Center and signed myself up for a Capitol tour. A lot of people think in order to tour the Capitol, you have to contact your member of Congress. That is an option, but it's not the only one. You can tour through the Capitol Visitor Center as well. I usually recommend making a reservation online, especially during the busy spring and summer months. But on this particular day, and since I was just one person, I got lucky and was able to walk right onto a tour. After the Capitol, I took the tunnel over to the Library of Congress. And that is a nice little trip hack you can know about, which is that by taking the tunnel, you can skip security at the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress is my personal favorite building in the entire city. After the Library of Congress, it was about 1 o'clock, which is typically when I would eat lunch. But those pancakes were really filling, so I decided to wait it out. I walked around the Capitol building over to the U.S. Botanic Gardens. This is an awesome spot to hang out, relax, and see some cool plants. Around 2:15, I started walking down Independence Avenue towards the cafeteria at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. If you remember the video I made about eating at this cafeteria, I said that if you wait until 2:30 p.m., you can get 30% off your order. And with only $20 to spend, I needed that 30%. Now, the big disadvantage of coming here at 2:30 is that some things will be pretty picked over. I got lucky because it was a relatively slow summer day. But if you come here in the spring or early summer when there are a ton of field trippers in town, this may not be the case. My plate wound up being kind of a hodgepodge because I wanted to show you what you can expect to get when you come here. Going around my plate, I got some fried rice, Chinese pork, a salad bar salad, southern fried chicken, and a roll. It clocked in at 1.01 pounds, which after the 30% discount and tax came to $6.19. To be completely honest, it was probably more than I really needed. So $5 worth of food would have been perfectly sufficient for me for lunch. After that, I walked across the street to the Hirshhorn, which is a modern art museum and a pretty cool place. And then around 5 o'clock, walked across the National Mall to the Sculpture Garden. On Friday nights in the summer, the National Gallery of Art hosts Jazz in the Garden. It's from 5 o'clock until 8:30. On this day, I was only able to stay for the first hour, because then I had to head off to give a tour. The tour was my Monuments and Memorials evening tour. So over the course of about 3 hours, my visitors got to see all of the major monuments and memorials on the National Mall. Now, of course, if you come on a tour with me, it is not free. I highly recommend it anyway, of course. But for the purpose of this video, let's pretend like you didn't take a tour and you just saw the monuments on your own. They are all, of course, completely free, so that's one way you could stick to a budget. After my tour, I rushed over to Roti, a Mediterranean fast casual restaurant. And fortunately for me, I made it in about 5 minutes before they were getting ready to close for the day. I used their app and had a $5 credit, which meant that my meal was only $4.68. If you want to know how to get food credits like this, I have an entire video showing you how, so make sure to check that out in the video description. Since they didn't want me to stick around and eat there, I took my food to go and ate it at home. And that pretty much wrapped up day 2. Okay, so let's tally up the costs and see how I did. Between breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I spent $17.75. I didn't pay for any transportation, and I didn't spend money on anything else. So in the end, that is an awesome day for only $17.75. It was a ridiculously busy day, and honestly, if you tried to recreate it, I think you'd wind up exhausted. But it just goes to show that by taking full advantage of the free things that we have here, you can make yourself an awesome day for almost nothing. And that's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see how I did on the other days of this challenge, you can go ahead and click over here to watch that video. And if you want to sign up for a Trip Hacks DC tour, which is not under $20, but I totally recommend anyways, you can click on the Capitol Dome on the left side of my head. That'll send you over to triphacksdc.com, where you can see all of the tours that we offer. Enjoy your trip!